was licking their lips. Every customer couldn't quite believe how good the food was. And it was that moment. Mark is not here, but what he's given me and taught me, I've just replicated. Now I need to become individual.
Mr. F-Bomb is back, ladies and gentlemen. I've never seen Gordon Ramsay on a podcast, but this was a few months ago. He was on Jake Humphrey's podcast, which is, I believe, High Performance.
High Performance, yeah.
Well, welcome back to the Wilson Brothers. I'm David. This is Isaac. The new year is around, is finally come, so we're actually pumping out content. We took a little bit of a break, resurfacing content, but now we are back, ladies and gentlemen. 2024 is the year of the Wilson Brothers.
Yeah, it's really rare that Gordon Ramsay actually goes on a podcast.
Never happens.
I'm curious to see kind of what's, F-bombs and truth bombs that he offers us today.
Hi guys, it's Gordon.
This is going to be really, really funny, but apparently it's inspirational. I haven't seen it yet. You've seen it, so let's get started.
Let's get it.
I'm done with that bullshit about stay in your lane. I want to own my lane. And that's high performance on a daily basis. I need that shot. I think it's one of the most exciting industries to be in as a restaurateur, chef, cook, whatever you want to call it. But there's also the shit end of the stick. There's the double shifts and defrosting frozen food and sticking shit in a fryer. That's the lower divisions of food. And I was determined to get the out of there early, because when you start in this industry, you go through those divisions. I remember a chef back in Stratford-upon-Avon, where I grew up, was showing me how to make a roast potato. And he was peeling the potatoes, blanching them in the deep fat fryer, and then sprinkling Bovril dust over the top. And that was the roast potato. So that scared the out of me. And I think you need to have both ends of the spectrum to understand high performance. But it's about climbing that division and owning it.
I like how he said it's about climbing it, because even in the beginning, it wasn't about, people have always said, stay in your lane. Mm-hmm. I've had so many people say that in my life. Stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane. But yeah, I might stay in my lane, but I'm going to own it. I'm going to be the best at it, because a lot of men get classified as being in a specific group. Oh, you're only good for handiwork. Oh, you're a construction worker. You can only do stuff with your hands. You don't have a brain, right? So stay in your lane. So if you stay in your lane, become the best at it, but also realize that you need to find something like Gordon Ramsay that got him out of bed in the morning and fired him up. So I love that.
Yeah, well, he actually in high school, he struggled with dyslexia. Like heavy dyslexia, to the point where it was almost debilitating. And he got into cooking as a way to fight that dyslexia. He could have let it stop him. He could have stayed in his lane and said, oh, well, I have this quote unquote disability, but am I gonna let that stop me? No, he said, I'm gonna own the lane that I'm in, even though I would never work in the restaurant business. Kudos to you out there that do.
I have.
And you know how it feels, but he does say in another video of his that you should always, everybody should at least be a server or waitress at least once in their life to learn how to serve people and it is true servant leadership, because you get paid not very much at all unless you're in a big high
also
restaurant.
You know how to treat people right. Just by being a server, you actually learn how to treat people right, because most people, especially wealthier people, a lot of them go to restaurants and just treat the servers like, you are
like dog
I own
crap.
You.
Yep.
The understanding of what you're capable of comes from. Can you remember the first time that you almost saw the possibilities that life can offer if you actually go for something?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when I stood alongside Marco Pierre White, for 2 years, side by side, 16 hours a day, relentless, because I was in that pursuit of perfection. And this guy put food on a plate like Picasso. And I wanted to get that level of discipline. And so Marco was up north with some food critic away for the weekend, and for some unknown reason, I can't remember, but he couldn't come back to the restaurant to open it after the holidays. And all of a sudden I was in charge, and he was on the phone every 2 minutes explaining what to do, but I knew what to do, but I'd never been given the reins. And at 22, when you're dropped in like that, it's sink or swim. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really understand the amount of pressure I was under at that particular time, but what I did see was empty plates coming back from the restaurant. And it was a high-octane 2 Michelin star establishment.
At 22?
And every customer was licking their lips. Every customer couldn't quite believe how good the food was. And it was that moment. Mark is not here, but what he's given me and taught me, I've just replicated. Now I need to become individual. I need to step away from what he's shown me, and I need to search for my own DNA.
Pause that.
But you already, though, had something.
There's one of the biggest things that I take from that is when crap hits the fan and stress is at its all-time high, you can either sink or swim. You can fight or flight. And he chose to lean in to that experience and let it mold and shape his destiny to where the outcome was, I need to go recreate my voice as a result of being trained by somebody that was the best in his field.
Yeah.
Be trained by the best people in your field, guys, and learn from them.
Mentors. What I got out of everything that he just said is live a prepared life.
Yes.
It only takes one moment to change the rest of your life, but are you going to be ready for it? For example, I'm in the film industry, right? I create content and I do all this. What if somebody loves the content that we create and then wants me to be part of a film set? But I didn't fine tune my skills. I'm not ready, right?
Always be ready. If you live a prepared life, the moment that opportunity comes, you can jump on it. You don't have to scour away in fear. You don't have to hide. You can say, no, I was built for this. I was born for this.
Yeah, and he said he wanted to be the best.
Pursuit of perfection. Pursuit of perfection is what he said.
Pursuit of perfection. Competition is so important with men.
And it's not going away.
But this is the thing. People ask me all the time, wow, you're so competitive. But I always respond and I say, I'm very competitive. We're playing basketball. I want to destroy you. I want to obliterate you, have your guts everywhere.
It's the Wilson way.
It's the Wilson way. We're so competitive. But I am more competitive with myself. I feel so let down if I do something half as good as I could have done it, and I didn't go all the way in, and I feel like I let myself down. There's been videos we've even done where I'm like, man, if only I had 2 more hours to edit that even better. Because sometimes I'm on a time constraint with all the different stuff I'm doing. Don't have regrets, don't let that moment slip you by. You have to take on everything and do it full, or just don't do it at all.
Yes, you have to be intentional with your time and also with your goals. Make sure that you know your goals, write them down. Be intentional with your time. I think intentionality that's not paired with a well-lived life is just quiet desperation. Is going to end in tragedy.
Can we talk then about hard work, attention to detail?
Yeah.
Because everywhere you look, everyone tells you I work really hard, I pay great attention to detail.
Yes.
Take us into those early years as a chef. What did hard work actually look like?
Good question.
Yeah, hard work was that relentless 5th, 6th gear. Standing in front of a tiny team and remaining as an example where you're focusing on their weaknesses, offloading everything you've got, and then still finding gears that the team around you never thought you'd have. Setting examples, first in, last out. Being more personable with the staff in a way that you're showing them how good they can become, but they need to commit to being good for as long a period as you can get out of them. And that takes a lot of convincing, because
persuasion.
When you're learning, it becomes so much more crucial when that teacher is inspirational. So you can't shut down. So I learned to open up early on. And then there's this level of unselfishness. Chefs are precious, dainty little souls that are guarded with everything they've got. They don't want to give much. So I understood the importance of opening up and talking and showing. And then when the shear's the fan, here's why it went wrong. This is what we're going to do. Dust yourself down, bounce back. And that journey on the way back is so much more rewarding than sitting on top. And I said to them, the mistakes you've just made, I've made 1,000 of them, but never the same mistake twice. Hard work is just that. And then hard work is about beating competition.
Yes.
It's about being in front of the industry. And in our industry, you move it or it moves you.
Yeah.
And customers vote with their feet, Jake. No one rings you up and says, you know what, wasn't that good? I'm not coming back. They vote with their feet. So as a stern indicator, I used to look at the waiting list every day and see the waiting list. I had to make sure there's a waiting list equivalent to the entire dining room. So we never dropped the ball. And it was just a message to everybody around me. Look, we got 45 booked for dinner and there's 45 on the waiting list. Understand the importance of making sure you've got a backup. Plan B, Everyone needs a plan B in life. And sometimes there's a plan C in your head, but you never want to talk about it. But you do need it.
What I got from that is being super intentional with the people around you, especially if you're a leader of leaders, as PBD talks about, servant leadership. Being a leader of leaders requires a level of sustainability of stress and understanding that the burden that you carry is not just for you, it's a generational legacy, because the company that you build or the mountain of society that you go after, whether it's entertainment, arts and entertainment, political, whatever it is, arts and entertainment, family, those mountains that you go after in your life, you have to be super animated. You have to be so persuasive in the way that you talk to the people around you to get them out of maybe the slump that they're in. Like, we do this all the time with each other. If I'm feeling down, you call me up and say, hey, Isaac, get up off your butt. Let's go. Let's get it.
We do it, dude.
Right? We have to, because life is going to smack you in the face. That's just a promise. Suffering is a promise for every man and every woman out there.
Men, have you suffered? Good. Keep suffering.
Keep suffering.
But something that I've gotten, so many people think leadership is purely delegation. And that's something that really bothers me. Is I've had horrible bosses. I've had phenomenal bosses.
What was the distinctive?
Inspiration. Inspiring me to do better. Words of affirmation saying, hey, you did such a good job on this. Or not even saying that, just saying, man, you really worked. I can tell the detail you put into that. Let's try doing this different, and I think this would really enhance the video. That's perfect feedback. I've had people say, oh, that's just crap.
Understand what drives your employees.
So the difference is I'm not getting any direction then.
But it's also understanding what drives your employees, what motivates them, understanding how they operate.
Well, most employees are driven by two things: money and being affirmed. Those are the two things: money or affirmation. There are salesmen that they don't care if they get screamed at all the time, as long as they make a lot of money. They're like, scream at me, I don't care, right? But you know what a good salesman will do? When you are being like, dude, you are busting balls. You're going so hard. You're doing this, and man, just keep pounding at it. Keep going.
Keep going.
You can do more. You can do more. I believe in you, man. When you say that, you now have a follower, right? You don't have somebody that just sees you as their boss that is paying them their check.
The blind leading the blind.
Yeah, they see you as somebody that believes in them. And when you approach it like that, that's what Gordon Ramsay is saying. He said, when you inspire those around you, they naturally elevate, because they don't want to let you down, because they don't see you just as a boss. They see you as somebody that is lifting them up and inspiring them to be better.
Ronald Reagan said this: the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things.
I've never wanted to be a leader that just delegated, because if that's the case, let me use AI.
Simon Sinek says the same thing. Leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. Ralph Nader, last one, Ralph Nader. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers.
What's the famous saying? That you will know you're a good leader when you made yourself replaceable.
Correct.
When you literally don't have to do anything, you get sick for 2 months, God forbid, people can fill in your shoes. You're a terrible leader if you were to die and the business were to die as a result.
Giving other people a platform that you built.
Exactly.
There's a recurring theme as well here, though, about following your instincts, following your gut. You know, the football doesn't work out, and you go down, you enroll in technical college, and you sort of follow your gut there, and then you go and do various culinary jobs, meet Marco, and your gut tells you there's something this guy can teach me. You knew when to take a step away and go and work on a boat. You knew when to come back to London and to do this, and you also very cleverly understood that what people wanted on their plates at that point. And you also had to follow your gut when Aubergine ended, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted security for myself. I was, we couldn't be any more successful. 2-star Michelin, on the verge of getting 3, but I had no ownership. And then I realized that I'm done working for the people. I gotta commit, and I want to work for myself.
I can relate.
And then you risk it all again. Tana and I bought our first flat together, and I had to convince her that I need the money, the equity, to give the bank security, because there was only a 3-year lease at Le Temps Clair, the restaurant we were buying for restaurant Gordon Ramsay. And the banks told us to off. There's no way we've got security on that. There's no head lease. There's no validity in this thing. So it doesn't make sense. I said, it will do, because I've got all this knowledge. I'm going to get 3 stars. No, you're unproven. So that really got me riled to come back with an answer. I'm going to put everything I've got into this business, and it will work. So
it will work.
That was the moment where I asked for patience from Tana.
Come on.
We just had our first baby, Megan, and it was or bust. And there's that moment again. But I've been there several times in my life.
How did you know it would work?
Because I've been there several times in my life. I had bounced back from adversity as a youngster. I was faced with and embarrassment going to see my parents. I was protecting my mum unbeknown to my father. And so all these little caveats make this big, meaningful purpose that I knew I was going to make it.
Wow.
I mean,
this hit me harder than any other clip. And because I have been there. I have a 4-year-old kid. I have a wife of almost 10 years. And I remember what it feels like to 2 days before you have to pay rent and you have half of the money in the bank account and you are clawing to trying to get a client. Hey, I'll give you a discount on this and that. Hey, I'll do this and that. And I know the torment. I know
men's biggest
not
fear.
being able to sleep because you can't do this. I mean, there was a period of time where my wife would text me or call me and be like, hey, we're going to go to Chick-fil-A, you know, our little girl wants, you know, some chicken nuggets. And I had to say no. I know how that feels because you really find out what you are made of as a man when you have no other choice.
Backs against the wall.
Because of my career choice, I didn't have a stable 9-to-5. You know, I didn't have that. And entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
Definitely
because not everybody has the ability to keep going. We're still on this journey. I'm not making a ton of money yet. You know, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I've made it now. I haven't. We're on this journey together and creating this channel together. But
which is relatable to our audience too, because there's
we're not at a place speaking down to you guys. We're trying to, as a group, get better together.
Raise the standard.
That's what I care about. I don't care about just making all this money and then putting it, okay, I've made it. Here's how you get to where I am. No, I'm saying, hey, I struggle. You struggle. I've struggled with pornography in my marriage. I've struggled with all sorts of different stuff that as a man, you feel horrible about when you're married. Not being able to provide for your family. And your wife trying to build her own business and she now has to take clients that she doesn't want in order to help you pay the rent. It's very it's horrible. It's demasculating and very difficult to get through.
Yeah. And for me, from a single guy's perspective, when your back is against the wall, it's different than being married. But it's also, you're thinking of, how do I set up an environment for my future family? How do I start to go down that path of resilience to say, I've been there, like he's saying. I've been there before. I know what it feels like to get the crap kicked out of you, to feel embarrassed, to not have enough money to pay the rent. But here's the thing. If you let that stop you, then you're only selling yourself short of the greatness that's inside of you. Greatness is not about what happens when you get kicked down. It's about you getting up. Guys, there's hope.
Yeah.
That's what this channel is all about. We don't want to come across as some internet personalities that are one way on the camera and one way off the camera. This is who we are. You're getting an insight into our lives, and we want to encourage every one of you out there listening right now that you can get out of the circumstance that you're in right now. All it takes is putting one foot in front of the other. The Great Wall of China wasn't built in a day. Get out a piece of paper, write down your goals for this year. What do you want to accomplish in 2024? What do you want to see happen? You can change your life in a year. You can start developing habits and being a person of integrity and discipline in every area. So write in the comments below, what do you guys think of Gordon Ramsay? Do you think he's a good personality? Do you think he's too controversial? What are your thoughts on his leadership style? Do you think he's over the top? Comment below. Let us know what you think, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode.
Strongly recommend this entire video, so I'll put it in the comments below as the pinned comment because this is really inspirational. He shares his entire story.
Yeah.
We don't have time to go into the entire thing, but it's definitely below. So we love you guys. We'll see you on the next video.
Peace.
Peace.